Okay, so I'm going to do a very basic Notan right now. You might want to start with something simple, and then you can get more complicated as you get more comfortable with the process. You can make one simple, and then with your extra time, make one more complex, okay? Because I do want to see something where you did challenge yourself, but I don't want you to make it so hard that you freak out. Okay, so I'm going to start making my shapes. I'm going to do something abstract, and something that I need to make sure to do is if I start on this side and if I do a shape on this side, I need to make sure that I come back to the same side, okay? Because if I go across the paper all the way across, what's going to end up happening is when I get my scissors, I'm going to cut my paper in half, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to keep my paper whole and just cut out shapes from the edges, the four edges of the square. Okay, so here's one shape. Okay, this is organic. Okay, it's just wiggly shape. Maybe I also want to do a geometric shape like a triangle. Okay, now I might come back to this side, but I'm going to leave it alone for now, and I'm going to switch it over. And let's see, maybe I want to do another geometric shape. And I'm going to do a rectangle that's pretty long, and then maybe I want to do a shorter one. It kind of reminds me of one of the examples we saw on the flip chart, and just kind of like a bar graph, and see how that turns out, see how I like that. Okay, I'm going to flip it around again, and since I've been doing geometric for a while, I feel like I want to do another organic shape. I'm going to start off in this corner and just kind of create my little slime blob. Now, I did create a lot of curves for this, which hopefully isn't too complicated when I'm cutting it out. Okay, so here that is. I'll find out when I start cutting. Of course, you're going to be using pencil, so if you don't like it and it's too hard, you can change it up. I'm using Sharpie so it can be seen on the video. Okay, so I've got organic. Let's see, if I have a triangle, and I guess I could do half of a circle and it'll make a full circle. It'll probably end up being an oval, but let's try that. Okay. So there's my half a circle, which when I flip it over, it'll be whole. I'm going to switch sides again, and let me think. You know, I saw some people doing hearts, so I'm going to do half a heart as best as I can right here. Okay, and hopefully that turns out okay. And if I have a heart there, maybe I want something to go around it. So let's see. I'm going to do, it's kind of like these lines, but instead of being straight, it's going to be curved. And then maybe I'll do something similar, going like this. Okay, so I'm going to start with that and see what I think. I can always make it more complicated after I start cutting it out. So I'm going to start cutting it out carefully. Again, you're going to be doing this with pencil, so you shouldn't see the marks as much, but when I'm done, I can always just turn it over and I don't have to worry about that. Okay, do my organic shape. Now this is a little bit harder because the iPad's in the way, but let's see. Notice that lots of times it makes it easier if I turn the paper while I'm cutting to kind of follow the curves of the shape. Okay, I'm having trouble getting here, so I'm just going to go the other way. Doesn't matter as long as I get it done. I don't want to lose these. Luckily mine aren't too small, so it shouldn't be easy to lose, and I'm doing it by myself. but just be careful not to lose your shapes, especially the cute little small shapes. Ta-da! Okay, so now I've got my shapes that I've cut out, and I can decide, you know, how I want it. Do I want my paper to go portrait or landscape? But I'm going to stick with landscape. Okay, since mine has, still I can see this, and maybe you could see the silver of your graphite from your pencil. You can just turn it over. Just know that you'll have to turn over the stuff that you cut also. Alright, so now it's time for the puzzle. This fits here, so if that's there, basically what you do is, boom, flip it over. Okay, so I guess I can't still see it, but whatever, you get the point. So this is like, if you're thinking about math, this is an axis, sorry. So you're flipping it across the axis. Alright, then I'm going to get another one of my shapes. I know it fits here, so same thing. The edge of the paper is the axis, and I'm going to flip it across. Okay? And it's okay if it goes off the paper, that's not a big deal. Again, I said to some of y'all, it can make it look more interesting too. Alright, so I see this wiggly line, and I'm going to match it up here, flip it, this one, here, flip it, now of course remember I'm going to glue them down, but it's kind of good to lay it out first so you can see, okay, well this sticks out here and this sticks out there. Do I want this to move it up, down? But I like the placement of it. Also, since I don't have it glued down yet, I can look at it and say, are there any other shapes that I might want to add? So this is a pretty big shape. What would happen if I decided to cut another shape in here, and then I could flip that there? So I'm going to get this one. I can draw it first, and let's say I'm going to kind of follow the same thing, some curves, but then stop it short. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. So if this is here, I'm going to flip that. And if this is here, I'm going to flip that like that. Okay. So then I think that ends up being more interesting, even though this kind of looks like Y. Because now I have this floating piece here that would flip. So you're flipping and then flipping again. So that's pretty cool. But it can get confusing, and that's why I like that I just cut this out first and then flipped it, see what I think. I'm like, okay, I can do this, do it again. Okay, looking at my other shapes, lots of them are pretty skinny, so I don't know if I would do that with any of the other ones, and so that tells me that I like the way this looks. I kind of wish I would have made some bigger shapes so I could do it more. Well, maybe I can do it with this triangle and just cut another little triangle inside. Okay, so I'm going to cut. Now, if you want perfection, which is impossible, if you want to try to do it a little bit more perfect, you probably want to draw it before you cut it like I did, because even now I'm having problems with the corner, but I have a shadow and it's not helping. Okay, cool. So if this is, and it's actually turned the other way, right here, then I get to flip this one back again. Okay. So yeah, I like that more. Okay. I could even, I guess, do it with these, but that's going to be really skinny. I'll have to think about that. I could definitely now, you know, the more comfortable I'm getting, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'd like to do that with a circle. I mean, come on, how hard is that going to be? Okay. So now I have a little inside piece of the circle. And I can just keep on making it more complex. Check how much time I have left in class before I go crazy, because I want to turn it in today. And this is easier too because I'm trying to do something pretty abstract. If you're trying to do something like a face, I can't just be cutting out pieces however I want. Okay, so like that. Yeah. Flip that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to glue that down and I can show y'all what it looks like in person.